Jeff, always great to talk to you. Let's start with Boeing. David Calhoun has a very daunting task. What does he have in front of him, and what should he be focusing on in the early months of his new tenure?
He does have a daunting task. He has to establish a clean break from his predecessor, and he was very supportive of Dennis Muhlenberg when, as you know, David Calhoun was served as chairman. But he doesn't want to alienate people by throwing Muhlenberg under the plane, so to speak. But he has to show a different path. He also has multiple constituencies that he's got to address. Everything from, of course, U.S. and global regulators. He has angry air carriers. He has confused, anxious general flying public. We have employee morale issues, as we have seen in this cache of emails that has just been released. So these are some of the issues on his plate before him. But he's so well skilled for this, having led massive scale, I don't know, 65,000 people or more in the aviation infrastructure space at GE. He's been a very successful CEO before at Nielsen, and as a very active executive chairman at Caterpillar, he profoundly helped them reposition certain strategies, particularly having to do with China. So I think he's all dressed up, ready to go for the job.
Let's talk a little bit about what kinds of challenges he will face. You named a couple of them. There's also a feeling like he is perhaps an insider, right? He's been part of Boeing for too long. He won't bring a fresh set of eyes or a new perspective or shake things up. Does David Calhoun have to worry about some of the perceptions about whether or not he's too close to the situation at Boeing?
That's a great advantage he brings. There is a notion of a messianic search for a savior from the outside that some boards of directors, fueled by, perhaps some somewhat self-interested members of the executive search community, headhunters, and some in the media where we love the drama. But the truth is, while there are not many things where Harvard, Yale, Wharton, Northwestern agree, the research out of all these schools is overwhelmingly, the insiders do better as change agents than the outside hires. The Lou Gerstner say at IBM are the exception and not the rule, whereas Satya Nadella has tripled performance at Microsoft, where the stock had been flat for a year. It's tripled in the 5 years he's been there, edging it up there with Apple and Amazon as the world's most valuable companies. These are things that an insider can do, knowing where the problems are, knowing who you can trust, knowing what the external challenges are. So it's quite advantageous. He's a trusted, known player than an unknown from the outside. So I don't hold that against him at all. He also has a certain advantage, Dominic, which is he's not piloting this thing alone. His chairman, Larry Kellner, who was the former CEO of Continental Airlines, is hugely valuable with his relationships with the air carriers, which obviously is a pretty hot area of concern. And his Greg Smith, his inside CFO, is always been head of strategy. He has a great relationship with the board. He's more than just a CFO. He's a wonderful culture carrier.
All right, Jeff, before we let you go, just a few moments left here, let's talk about the situation at Nike. This is now John Donahoe, another seasoned executive taking over the reins at Nike. He's a tech guy. He's going to a consumer products company. What is the dynamic going to be like there?
Well, this is the challenge because coming in from the outside, if it's a time of crisis, again, we do better with an insider. In this case, going to the outside, Donahoe is somebody who's actually, he has been positioned inside. He's been there. He knows the company a bit from within. But he has a great history at eBay, a very strong history running a service now that Bill McDermott now has took over for him, that he understands, I think, the space very well that Nike has had to work with on both the retail, consumer, and the technical front. He's replacing a very successful guy. Mark Parker
Gotcha.
did a great job, but there was a rocky succession going into that.